Ted Leonsis, thank you very much for being with us here at Leaders. A real honour to talk to you. You are fond of saying, I think, that you maybe own more sports teams than any one individual. Talk us through exactly what you've got and why you're addicted to owning teams.
Well, I'm addicted to being able to touch as many fans and bring the city as close together as possible.
Yeah.
And just in big metro areas, sports teams have become the iconic institutions. So in Washington, D.C., we own the Washington Capitals hockey team, the Washington Wizards NBA team, the Washington Mystics, the WNBA team, the Washington Valor and Indoor Football League. We also own a part of Team Liquid, which is an esports team, and we have just bought a G League, used to be the D League. And the goal is to have multiple venues, multiple teams, be able to touch more than 3 million people per year, turn those into media products, turn them into e-commerce, activation within the community, and really play a central role in the psyche, the social responsibility of our community, but also the commerce and the economy of our community.
Does the scale that owning so many separate businesses in the same overall business, does the scale that gives you, does that help basically build it into a much bigger commercial proposition?
Yeah, very much so. In fact, if you look, owning just a WNBA team, an AFL team, no one's been successful in doing that. But if you own the building and you have a centralized sales force and a centralized web services team and a centralized building management team, you can leverage the platform. I grew up in the web business and at AOL and America Online built this big platform with literally hundreds of thousands of servers and points of presence around the world. But then we launched and we acquired CompuServe and we owned Netscape and MapQuest, and they were different brands, but they shared a lot of the back end. And it's the way to drive profitability, get more efficiency, and make better products.
Mm-hmm. As an owner, as a sports team owner, what is the challenge that you most enjoy sinking your teeth into? Do you enjoy building up a business and building up separate business units within that business, or do you like the thrill of building up a value proposition and selling on?
No, I have lots of venture capital and private equity funds and investments that I make, and those are, for the most part, driven by the numbers and what kind of return can you get. I want to bring our community closer together by winning championships, and I want to generate lifelong memories. I mean, the social responsibility behind being able to win a championship and have mothers and fathers and sons and daughters and friends have that as a touch point 50 years hence. I mean, there's no other business that you can be associated with that can do that. I think the positive law of unintended consequence is that sports teams have gone way up in value, mostly because the media landscape changed so dramatically, and the only real convener in real time of big audiences are sports.
You're obviously still very active in the investment space and particularly in sport. What is it? Are there some key attributes that you look for before you will pull the trigger on investment in sport?
Yeah, I think that sports were not being looked at through the right prism. I always looked at businesses that were subscription-based and reoccurring. We have season ticket holders. We renew them at 95%. No magazine, no newspaper renews at 95%. My team does. And we increase price pretty religiously every year. We have suites in the building. They're on 5-year contracts. We have naming right partners, Verizon Center, 20 years. We have national media deals, 10 years. We have local media deals, 15 years with price escalators. Our business renews itself. In fact, almost 80% of our revenues are contracted. We look like Oracle. We look like Salesforce.com. We look like a software as services business. And if you just look at how Wall Street values reoccurring revenue businesses, they're usually priced at 10 to 12 times revenues. And sports teams have been selling for 3 to 4 times revenues.
Yeah.
So there was a big value gap there. And I think that's why you have been seeing a lot of tech-oriented people. They get it, they naturally understand that business model, and they think teams are undervalued.
Yeah. Inside or outside of sport, what's the best investment that you've ever made?
Well, the best investment that I ever made was I started a little company, and it was rolled into, it was the first acquisition of America Online. Company went public at $400 million, and 8 years later it peaked at almost $200 billion. That's when we bought Time Warner. So that was I put a big bet there, and I don't know, there's not many companies that can get that kind of return. We were the #1 best performing stock on the New York Stock Exchange for a decade.
And finally,
Excuse me.
bless you. And finally, we were talking earlier, you were talking about the magic membrane, kind of area that you see around an entity, I suppose, that you can build value in. Is that my understanding correct?
Yeah, I just see that if you say we're in the real estate business because we own buildings, and people value real estate deals on a discounted cash flow basis. Or you say I'm in the media business, and because I license my content to media companies, and media companies are valued at 10 to 12 times EBITDA. Or you could say you're in the SaaS business because your model most resembles that, and SaaS businesses are valued at 10 to 12 times. And so what I always try to look at to build value is, can you grow revenues, and can you change the definition of the category so that the multiple is higher? The way you get disproportionate value creation is you grow revenues and you grow the multiple. When you have both of those things going in the same way, you get 10 times returns. Yeah.
Ted Leonsis, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.